Heyo Creative Homes, welcome back to another video from XAXs Corps. I'm Aditya Roy, Creative Director and Founder of XAXs Corps. And this is not a tutorial. In this video, we will be going through the rebranding highlights of the last month, which is September, and we're going through them in October, which is this month. And there are mainly 3 brands that have rebranded themselves. So let's look into that. The 3 brands that have rebranded themselves last month are Dribbble, Freepik and TrueCaller, and I have mixed feelings on 2 of them, while I'm completely on board with one of them. Let's start with the one who unveiled a new look. First, chronologically, which is Dribbble. Let's start with Dribbble because chronologically they are the first one to unveil their new logo. And this is their new logo. So they have been slightly changing their UI and brand language over the last few years. Now I have some mixed feelings about this logo. By the way, they did not change their pictorial mark completely, they only changed the color language of it. So hence I'm bringing that in here. Plus the pictorial mark work independently of the word mark, they don't use a combined mark for some reason. So that's kind of irrelevant for this conversation. Let's focus on the word mark. I prefer the old logo because it had the personality. The new one is a bit cleaner, I won't deny that. But the older one had a very distinct look. It had a very loopy look, which is something you associate with Dribbble, which is a bit welcoming. While the new one, although it is cleaner, it's easier to read, especially in small sizes. It's not like it's a huge improvement of readability from the last one. It is an improvement, won't deny that. But I would prefer if they could bring that scalability without losing the personality that the previous logo had. In fact, I brought it up to my audience and they had a bit of mixed feelings. Some of them had some of them liked that, some of them didn't like that. Let's look at the audience reaction. The people who liked them had a very clear liking that it's as I mentioned, that it is cleaner, it is more scalable, it is more legible. Although I disagree that it's more modern, it's not exactly modern, it has a very retro feel. If you look at the logos from 80s and 90s, they had a very distinct slanted look like this, so it's not exactly modern. And yeah, the main benefits are that it's cleaner and more legible. The logo is not the main problem with Dribbble. They are kind of a dying brand now. Like people don't care about them as much they used to. Things haven't been that great. The community is not as engaging as they used to be, and they are trying to do a lot now, which is not something I'm against. They are trying to be a marketplace where you can hire designers, you can post jobs and that sort of things. I have one major complaint though. They haven't really explained their decision that way. Like, I would prefer if they put out a proper article that said why they took the decision, the changes that made through, the thought process that went behind this decision, but they haven't done. They had made one public announcement, but it wasn't that public. They didn't really put draw much marketing or attention to it, which is a disappointment. Like, they mainly just announced their new logo, and it's just this. Like, they're focusing on the updates they have made to the UI and stuff, which are good. I won't deny they have been constantly improving the UI, but they haven't really changed their overall brand language much. The major update is the UI, and the logo is just more of attention grabber, but not much. You see, even the logo animation is not as good as the previous one was, which had a very loopy feel to it, and that's it. That's all. There's no explanation behind the thought process, which is very disappointing. Like, they're focusing on the updates to the platform. But why the change in logo? Plus, I really hate how their notification system works now. Like, the basic stats of views, likes, and saves are blocked under their pro subscription, which doesn't feel good. Like it's really basic. Anyway, with this disappointment, let's move on to the next one. Freepik logo is the one, rebranding is the one that I'm completely on board. Freepik didn't exactly have a bad branding per se, but they had a dated feel to it, and although I am a fan of the logo head and I hope they bring that back in some way, maybe not within the logo but as a mascot or something like that, but it didn't really feel that connected with the wordmark for some reason. And plus they are really going with the trend, with the modern trends for the rebranding, and I am not a fan of jumping onto trends. I feel for branding it's more important to have a more timeless look to it, something that stands the test of time. But Freepik is a stock marketplace. Like they are primarily about vectors, but they're expanding onto that quite severely in the recent history. But the main thing is they are a stock place, and stocks are run by trends. So for a stock platform, it makes sense to go by trends. And plus, especially when it's an upgrade. Let's look at the logo. This is the rebranding. Like, now I am a bit biased about this kind of bold, fluid text that is very variable. It can go thicker, smaller, and stuff. So I am a bit biased in this decision. But I think this is a huge improvement. This logo can work in very diverse platforms. It can be shrinked, it can be expanded, it can be stacked into a perfect square, and that's just great. And they did put out a proper explanation behind that. Plus they haven't completely updated everywhere though. You can see that in some places they are still using the logo head, for example Falcon here, but they have changed the Falcon here, and a few, but they are changing the brand language. They have put through a lot of things. Plus they're using the exclamation mark everywhere. You can see here, you can see it's part of the F in their Falcon mode. And as I said, like it's very diverse. It can function in very different platforms, which is why I love this rebranding. In the full watermark, they're using the I as the exclamation, but in the Falcon they are moving it to the F, which is using the exclamation beautifully in different other applications. And the main thing they are going for is fluidity and how dynamic it is. Explain through a bit while they have made this change. You see how compact it is, how good of a shape it's forming, unlike the previous one, which wasn't exactly bad though. And it's really working very well with multiple colors. Previous one kind of did too, but the color language is much more fluid in this one. They have really expanded the color palette. Oh yeah, yes, this is see the beauty. This is just perfection. Love the logo animation, love the application, love the thought process behind it, pretty much love everything. Some people did not like it though, but it was mostly because people, it's mostly their nostalgia coming into play. I'll get to the audience reaction in a bit, but I'm totally on board with it. I really love it. The audience reaction hasn't been that great, unfortunately. Like there's a mixed reaction. Most people don't like it for some reason. Like you can see that they are not a favor of the all caps. So they feel it's a bit too going with the trend. But it's okay to go with the trend when you do it right. When you jump into a trend in a way that you're not losing your language, that you're not losing your identity. In that case, it's fine. Don't jump on trends just for the sake of jumping on trends. But if you can take advantage of a trend in the right way, you do it right, it's okay to jump on trend. And plus, as I said earlier, Freepik is a stock marketplace. For them, it makes sense to jump on a trend. because stock marketplaces go with the trend. And I really liked this one reaction though, where he agrees with me. Like the new branding is a very dynamic and creative. It completely fits with their values, which they are highlighting in their overall branding, which is not just a logo. They have revived very beautifully. I'm a bit nostalgic with the overhead, but not in a way that is hurting my justice. It's not really clouding my judgment. Now let's move on to the next one, which is TrueCaller. This is the one. This is. Let's first go to the logo. This is the logo. They have updated their watermark a bit too, but the watermark update is just a bit of correction and iteration to make it better. They did not change their watermark. And TrueCaller, just like Dribbble, rarely function in combination with the watermark. They have a few applications where they are using a combined mark, but they mostly function either just the pictorial mark existing itself or just the watermark existing itself. But even if when they're functioning together, that's not the problem. The thing is, I think this changes the move in the right direction, because their previous logo is almost feels like they just took out a icon from a UI kit and used it as a logo. Like, it's really not ownable. While the new one is, they have the right thought process, but it's the gradient. The gradient is so hard that it's making a very bad visual impression. I'll elaborate on that in a bit, but let's look into the article they put out. The article is quite fun. This is the article they have put. Can you see here, even in the application itself, it's very hard to read the logo, like it's almost mixing with the background, and that is what happens when you use a gradient that is so hard. I was going to show you some example, but even within their own announcement where it should work perfectly, it's not working that well, because if you make the background too light, the white mix up, this gradient mix up, and if you make the background too dark, then the T mixes up. Yeah, it's a T. I'll get that. But even when they're trying to balance it out, it's mixing with the background. That's bad. So this is what they maintained the color palette though, mostly a little tweak. So this is how they started. Going through the logo history is really fun. As a brand designer, I really love to do that. I won't make you go through the entire article slowly, but let's just glance through it. They wanted to go with the True for a while. You can see different eras here when different companies were going through different, when gradient first came in, when shadows first came in, when complex graphics first came in, then everything was flat. 2016 is where they started to define themselves as a identity. 2017 is the logo that we have been using, that we mostly associate TrueCaller with. And yeah, as I said, the direction is correct. They're using the crop out part of in the background, so that is making it ownable. And as I said, the watermark hasn't changed much. They have corrected it a bit, rounded it up a bit, made the corners a bit softer, adjusted the kerning and stuff like that. But this is the main update, and yeah, it's kind of disappointing. And although I think it's in the right direction, it's a step in the right direction, but the execution is not. And the thing is, this is one particular mistake is making it that bad, and that is very easily fixable. I'll probably make something on that in later weeks this month. But before that, let's look at the audience reaction, most people hate it. I think it's a step in the right direction, but it's not a good execution. Like most people find it strange. People are going as far as calling it straight up garbage and straight up eyesore. And this is a bit of an eyesore, but they did try, just didn't execute it correctly. But anyway, that was all before watching. Thanks for watching the video. This is something a little mix amidst the different tutorials we have been doing, and we are brand designers, we are branding agents. Branding is what I love as a profession. So, yeah, let me know what you think about these rebrandings. What are your thoughts? Did you like the steps these brands have taken? Did you dislike them? And mostly, why did you like or dislike them? That's the part I'm mostly curious about. And like I post stuff like this more often in LinkedIn and Reddit. So if you want to participate in the conversation, that's probably good places to interact with me. And once again, thanks a lot for watching the video. Hope to see you in the next one. We already have quite a few videos on channel. Go through them and go check out website for more useful resources and stuff. And see you in the next video. Till then, keep creating and stay above the cloud.